we really wanted to share with you that while we know times have been really tough and we got some tough road ahead, it is so exciting that there are so many great things going on downtown. And we're lucky that construction is considered an essential service, and some amazing developments continue. And I know you're all familiar with many of these developments, but we wanted to give you an update on their progress and a little bit more of a deeper dive, and that's what we'll be doing today. But I also really wanted to start with thanking all of you. As you know, it has been a really tough time. And as I think all of you know, we at Downtown Partnership serve all businesses, from large developments like the projects you'll see today, and certainly our small businesses as well, our retailers and our restaurants. And really, these past 2 months, much of our focus, understandably, has been on our storefront businesses and the incredible challenges that they face. So I want to start with thanking every one of you, because you're here because you love downtown, and because you love downtown, you love our small businesses. So we want to say thanks for doing the takeout. Now that retail is open, that you're checking out your favorite shops again, and as restaurants are allowed to reopen, we hope you'll patronize them at the level you are comfortable with, whether that's takeout, outdoor dining, whatever the case may be. We're going to, really be all in on our small businesses for a long time to come, because there's still a long road ahead. So I wanted to first say thank you to all of you who've been there for our small businesses. That's what we focused our efforts on these past several weeks. As many of you know, we've been actively involved in curbside takeout spots. We've been advocating at a local and state level in regards to policies to help our small businesses. Through our Downtown Development Authority, we were thrilled to be able to provide over $600,000 in grants to our storefront businesses, and a whole variety of services. And our work doesn't stop there, because their lives are tough right now, but with your help and your support for them, we know we can help them get through this. Like we do with any of our member mixers, we want to start also with thanking our President's Council members. These are folks who invest in Downtown Partnership at the highest level, and they are the 365 Grand Club and the suite of properties, to include the Antlers, the famous restaurant, and the Mining Exchange, Colorado Springs Utilities, El Paso County, Norwood Development Group, Olive Real Estate Group, the O'Neill Group Company, U.S. Bank, and Widener Apartment Homes. And we also thank our executive level members. They are Colorado College, Griffiths Blessing, Insurance Technologies, Chuck Murphy, and Navakai. And we have a sticky cursor. And we've also really are gratified to see that in these past several weeks, several folks have become new members to Downtown Partnership. And like we do at all our mixers, we like to especially acknowledge our new members. And I know you can see them on the screen, but they absolutely deserve being called out. So if you will indulge me, we want to thank our new members at the colleague level. They are Crafted Colorado Handmade Market, Sweet Attic Bakery, and at the associate level, 3E's Comedy Club, to be opening soon downtown, CMS Inc., Colorado Springs Dance Theater, East Coast Deli, Halo Boutique, Inside Out Youth Services, Ion Communications, Mininger, Perfect Venue, the Pioneer Fund, Switchback Coffee Roasters, and at our individual levels, Kristen Hegem, JL Fields, Leanne Fracca, and Rebecca Moon. And I'll also put in a plug for Rebecca, because she is opening her new store on Tejon Street next week called Moonbeam Clothiers. So we're really excited to see that, again, new businesses continue to open downtown. And we also really want to thank our beverage sponsor for today. I know the camera's not on me at this moment, but if you could see, I am holding my Lee Spirits Lavender Lemonade cocktail. And I would encourage you all now, for those of you who are joining us, take a selfie, use the hashtag downtown_CS and hashtag Lee Spirits. And of course, their slogan, hashtag expect more. and post it on Facebook or Instagram and tell folks you're enjoying your beverage while you hear about great things that are going on downtown. We want to thank Ian Lee with Lee Spirits. And Ian, would you like to share a few words about all the great work Lee Spirits has been doing these past several weeks?
Yeah, I think, COVID was probably the craziest time to ever try to launch a brand new product in a brand new market segment. There's other canned cocktails that exist on the marketplace today, but most people, if you've experienced them, you've noticed that they're actually all carbonated. We're the only non-carbonated canned cocktail on the market right now. And we're actually the only canned cocktail product that's made from craft spirits. So we make the craft spirits that are in the can, and we actually make the can, which is putting us in this really unique spot. To date, we have sold, hold on, I'm doing the math right now. We sold, what is today, 20 something. Help me out. I don't even know what day it is anymore. This is what happened with COVID. But we sold over 7,000 cans this month. Wow. Through our distribution channels just in the state of Colorado. This is a product that people have really been gravitating towards, and we're really proud that it came from feedback, local people that live in Colorado Springs through our tasting room, Brooklyn's on Boulder Street, that gave us the inclination that this product would have a very massive positive effect in the marketplace.
That's fantastic, Ian. And thank you again for being our beverage sponsor. And for those of you who haven't picked up your cocktail yet, those were made available for the first 100 registrants, but we've also heard from some folks that they're not able to pick up theirs. So we're just saying, come get yours on a first come basis. Drop by our friends at Wild Goose Meeting House over at the corner of Boulder and Tejon. Say, I'm here for my downtown partnership cocktail, and pick yours up before Sunday of this week. Hopefully you already have and you're enjoying it right now, but if not, if you could pick it up before Sunday and enjoy it just like I am right now. We also want to remind you of a couple key events we have coming up. First off, our State of Downtown report. We are making this event because we believe it's so important that it is open really to the entire community. I would encourage all of you through your companies to make this an event where your entire employee base safely from a distance joins this event. For those of you who've joined us at State of Downtown before, this event we've been holding over at the Pinery the past few years. We were scheduled to do it on April 11th and of course postponed that. And I want you to understand that what is in this report is very encouraging. The numbers, the information around downtown is what's really going to help us get through this tough time and be ready for our rebound. So this report, while it was prepared before COVID, gives a ton of really relevant information for making good business decisions. And yet we will also be sharing with you really updates on various industry sectors. What is the state of retail? What's the state of food and beverage industry? Are there changes to mobility and how people are choosing to get around these days? All of these things have been impacted by COVID. So while we will have the report, we will also have fresh information on the impact of the pandemic and why we believe that unlike our past recession, that downtown is in a much better place due to many of the things you'll hear about today to be poised for the rebound. So if you haven't registered for that yet, you just go to downtowncs.com. Again, of course, it is free. And I think you'll find it very gratifying. And everyone who registers will get a free downloadable copy of the report. And so we also encourage you to tell your friends. And like I said, have your fellow coworkers join in this as well, because we think there's good news to share even in this tough time, and also realistic news. We're not there just to shine it on. So we'll tell you what we need to do to get through this. Other events we have coming up as well. We are committed to Art on the Streets this year. We know more than ever it's important to have a safe way to experience art. We are sad that many of our performing arts venues and our museums have not been able to open yet. So more than ever, public art that can be experienced safely in the outdoors is really, really important. So we are going to give you, our members, as well as our donors to Art on the Street, a special behind the scenes preview. Again, this is a member and donor only event. And you'll hear from the artists and the jurors, and you'll hear a little bit about like, why do we select certain locations for the art? And you'll see what it takes to install the pieces. This exhibit is opening in June, or as it usually does, but it has been a little bit delayed due to COVID and some of our artists' ability to travel for installation. So we're going to give you the behind the scenes, and some of these pieces are being installed even this week as we speak. So you'll get the first word ahead of everybody else on this really beloved exhibit. And then finally, just as a save the date, coming up in July, we're going to tell you about new businesses and commercial remodels. Again, we're very encouraged that there are many, many projects in place, be they, again, new restaurants, new venues, folks that are absolutely moving ahead with their plans and really improving a lot of existing properties. So you're going to get a behind the scenes look at a lot of these new businesses and be sort of, again, the first in the know on who's opening up and what are some of the great places you're going to want to explore as hopefully we all begin opening up a little bit more in our community. So today we're going to do a little bit deeper dive on a couple projects. We're excited to get an update on the downtown stadium. Then after that, we're going to hear about the May on Cascade apartments, which will soon begin leasing up. Then we're going to hear from our folks at Kinship Landing and see the progress there with that hotel over on South Nevada Avenue. And then finally, of our sort of our deeper dive looks, you will hear the latest with the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Museum. You may have read in the Gazette even today about updates on the museum. We're going to have just 1 or 2 minutes after that with a couple, frankly, quick looks at a few other projects to share with you. And then we'll take your questions at the end. And so with that, I am going to stop talking and I am going to turn it over to Nick Reagan with the Switchbacks to share a lot of really great updates about what's going on with the downtown stadium. So with that, Nick, if you want to take over your sharing.
Okay, can you see and hear me?
Yes.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Well, thanks, Susan. Thanks also, Ian. I just posted, guys, on my Facebook page just to say thank you. So we're off and running. First slide you see here, 2021, 2020, certainly a rough year for everybody, but we're looking forward. We're moving ahead. You know, excited. Anybody that asks us to walk them through a presentation, we'd love to do it. I'm going to do it fairly quickly today, but happy to answer questions and go through things as you all like. And just as I guess a warning, there are simulated people in some of these images that are not socially distanced properly. So we will not allow those things to happen, but just FYI. So, all right. So I always throw a little slide up just to talk about sports and the importance of sports. You know, certainly we have the U.S. Olympics and get to hear from some amazing people in our community. So on the national, the international level, but down to the local level, sports does a lot. You see Nelson Mandela's quote here, creating hope where there was only despair. But from identity, who Colorado Springs is, who we are, what our culture is, we get to represent this to a pretty large world. There's 35 large cities that play in our league. And so sport combines us and tells a shared story. And we're excited to be part of that story. For those of you that don't know, the Switchbacks, we've been around since 2015. The Reagan family invested about $3.5 million to improving a city-owned stadium so we could exist. And then with always the vision of being downtown, some of our partners here, and you could put the downtown partnership up here as well, but certainly the City for Champions projects of which we are a part of, the Urban Renewal Authority, that is the financing entity in our City for Champions project, and then Widener Apartment Homes, who came on with a partner with us. And ultimately, you know, again, this project would not be happening without this partnership with Widener Apartment Homes. So a huge shout out and thank you to them. About 12, 14 months ago, our stadium was really a lot of function. We approached it as, hey, we have to hit certain numbers and we need to do it efficiently. As we developed and grew our relationship with Widener Apartment Homes, we were able to take just the function of the building and add a lot of form to it with their inspiration and what they'd like to see in downtown Colorado Springs. So a lot of the images that you see wouldn't be possible without Widener apartment homes. So we'll flip to the next slide. Just a quick overview, 8,000 seats. Our goal is to sell 5,000 season tickets. That's about 60% of our total tickets available. We are about 20% there, so I guess after this call, we'll probably be like 50% there. But $34 million project, doesn't include land, and there's always costs, as you all, I'm sure, have experienced. And then adjacent mixed-use development that we're excited to hear more about as well. This next slide just casts a little vision about what we would like to see and what the opportunity is out there and what other cities in our league, the experience around a match is like. So if you can think of Tejon and Moreno, just down the street from the stadium, and you think about 5:30 on a Friday or a Saturday night, restaurants and bars start to load up and people enjoying themselves on patios and whatnot. And then as we get closer to game time, about 6:30, people spilling over into the streets, collecting drums and horns and flags and their colors, of course, and then marching down and singing chants and so forth down into the stadium. That Moreno's got a dead end right into the southeast corner of the stadium. That's some of the culture around soccer. It's fan driven. And so when we do this right, it's going to be a very different experience than a lot of the other sports that you've experienced professionally in Colorado. But we need you all to join us. So, okay. So I'm standing right now on Sierra Madre looking at the building to the east. The first level, the field club. The second level is the foundation. So I'm going to start with the Sky Club, and then we're going to kind of swing all the way down to the field club and then move around north and then northeast of the stadium. So for a plan view of the Sky Club, you can see kind of what that looks like, the restrooms, the prep kitchen, the stairs, the elevator. Of course, the views are what's most significant about this space, the views west of Pikes Peak, and of course, the views of downtown and the field. You see those are 7 garage doors that open up to the field, of course, on nice weather nights. But you can imagine just the noise, the roar of the fans, the sounds and the sights of the field, and coming into that Sky Club area. All the food and beverage service for this space will be provided with that ticket. And then on all the other nights of the year, this is a catering space. It can seat up to 240 guests for your weddings, your corporate events, your dinners, etc. This is a very high-end finish area with, again, great views of the east and west, and that very unique access to a field and opening of garage doors and getting that outdoor experience and bringing that inside. We're going to step down one level to the Founders Club. You can see our cabana suites that are in blue, and then the Founders Club is in yellow. This is another cool space with more garage doors, certainly integrating that outdoor experience as much as we can. This is a game day view. All of these spaces can be cleared out and host different types of events on non-game days, but all the food service with tickets in the bowl on the west side of the stadium and a couple of the sections will access their food and beverage service in here. And again, a pretty cool space opening up to the west. Go to the next. You can see this is just a view from the north, looking southwest. You can see the cabana suites that are covered with the awnings, and then move along down the inner side of the Sky Club. A view into the cabana suites that are a little more protected underneath the Sky Club. We will, of course, and we've already begun selling suites, cabanas, even naming rights in different areas. Those things, some of them have their names on them already, but it's a process, and this is going to be a great place to view a game. We move back out to Sierra Madre, looking at the stadium. The first level, this is the first touch corridor. A lot of our everyday access will be through this first touch corridor, but also the field club. And from a game day experience, the field club is one area that gets me the most excited. You can see how it lays out here in yellow. The field club will have their seats, the only section that is directly on the field and very closely with the players and coaches, and just the speed of the game is what the difference is on the field. This is a view of the field club, and some room for sponsor activation. There'll be a big bar. This is a space that on non-game days will also be a sellable event space. We have loaded this with a lot of data so that we could host gaming, gaming competitions. But this is a really cool space. And then you see the interviews with the player here, but you'll have coaches, referees, everybody's accessing the field through this space. So it'll be very integrated. And then this is standing on the field. These are players moving into the field club space. You'll be walking out on that red carpet with those field side tickets. All right, now moving to the north, this corner restaurant on Sierra Madre and Cimarron, and that is what this image is of. And at one time, this was not going to be a restaurant, but Susan and Widener Apartment Homes, and Laura and Greg, and just the perspectives of the hope of what we could activate here. And so you see there's an elevator so that there's a second level patio, and then there's actually even views into the field, because the goal was to make this just a cool space. And so we do not have a tenant for this space. We've had a number of conversations, but you guys are well aware of the climate that we're in. So, they've ebbed and flowed with a lot of those conversations, but this is going to be an excellent space. And this is the plan view of what that space looks like. On your right is the first level, and on your left is the restaurant patio on the second level with that elevator access. All right, now we move down Cimarron, looking at the stadium from the northeast. This is the main entrance. You guys may have seen some of these pictures of this entrance, and it was one of Dean Widener's, actually, his big visions is how do we welcome people? How do we announce the entrance to the stadium? And so this vision was part Widener Apartment Homes, part Perkins and Will, and then of course G.E. Johnson managing this whole process. And then Springs Fabrication is actually designing and creating this sculpture right now. And so we're super excited, because obviously Springs Fabrication is here in town. But we'll keep going on here. So yeah, and the shape, if you've not heard, represents the world of sport. We both have the globe and the rings, kind of connecting loosely the Olympics to the world and just the global nature of this. You've heard me talk a lot about switchback soccer. This venue, of course, is part of City for Champions, and so as part of City for Champions, it will be used to attract out-of-state visitors. And so we will be working to host national governing bodies of the various Olympic governing bodies here in the venue. And this is one of those connection points. But one of the great things about just how this integrates with the egress into the main entrance, how you really have to work around it and kind of interact with the sculpture in order to enter. Okay, so we're inside now, looking south along the concourse. You'll notice that, yeah, at least I do, that, and I'm reminded that how tight a site that we're working with. We have just under 5 acres that we're putting all of this into. So we're being very efficient and very thoughtful about how we organize the space. But ultimately, we're going to have a very intimate setting to watch a game, and intimate tends to result in fun, engaging experience. One of the unique things is the LED lighting features of the canopy in the main entrance. We're going to be working with these features throughout the game, along with our sports lighting that's all LED, and it's just going to light up this part of downtown on game night and even non-game night. To date, we've had a groundbreaking ceremony December 7th, which was beautiful weather. We launched the first fireworks show in downtown, not the park, but downtown Colorado Springs that we could find on record. So we'll be doing a lot more of that. This is what the stadium looks like today. And we just had our beam topping ceremony last week via FM radio signal to cars parked in the street. So we are managing as best we can to both commemorate the different advancements of the project and celebrate them, but be respectful of the times that we're in. The team, this is our guys that are in their apartments, and actually each field, we can get 4 guys on a field to train, each within their own quadrant right now. So that was an advancement from last week, but they're chomping at the bit to get back out there. And then the last slide is just the whole venue stepped back to see kind of what I walked around. So thank you. Don't want to take up any more time. There we go.
Nick, that is wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much. I was at the beam topping off last week, and it was also, and I mean this as the highest compliment, the weirdest event I've ever been to. But you all, like, it was so exciting, and the cheering and the horns honking and keeping us all safe as well. It was a really exciting milestone, and we're just, looking forward to next year where we can all be there celebrating. So thank you so much for sharing this with us. I also want to give a huge shout out to Greg Sturbana and Robert Carr with Widener Apartment Homes, who I think have joined us as well. And thank you all that Widener is doing with the stadium, as well as with your multifamily developments and your real investment in our city and your belief in our future. We thank all of you for this incredible vision, and that you're moving so quickly to make it happen. It looks amazing.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
You bet. We are going to keep moving on here so you can see more about some other great projects going on. We are going to now hear from Jeff Finn with Norwood Development Group, that really just a block or so away from the stadium is a beautiful new development, the May on Cascade. So Jeff, if you want to go ahead and screen share and take it over and tell us about the May on Cascade, that would be great.
Thanks, Susan. Just want to make sure everybody can see.
We can see, it's not full screen yet, but we can see it. There you go.
Okay. Susan, just thanks so much for all you do. Just want to give you props in front of all your peers. Just you've done a fantastic job navigating this, and I know you spend a lot of time talking about other things, and not this, and where this was a huge part of your life before as leader of the Downtown Partnership. And you and your staff have done fantastic. So thank you on behalf of our company and on behalf of Downtown.
Thank you. I accept that on behalf of all of us. So thank you. I appreciate that.
My name is Jeff Finn. I get to serve as vice president here at Norwood. Our company is, probably most of you know, is active across the entire city. I get to spend my time on downtown and love doing it. And I'm honored to be here presenting virtually. I wish we could be doing this in person. Pictures speak loudly, but so do tours. And so we look forward to that day. Just to kind of give you guys, my hope is to give you a good overview of the May, kind of give you a little bit of backstory on how it came to be, and then where we are now going forward. The May is it is located on Cascade Avenue, it's south of Cimarron, between Rio Grande on the south and Moreno on the north. So that parade that Nick showed previously would march right in front of the north side of our building. And we're super excited about what both the Reagan family and Widener Apartment Homes have done with their investments just to the kind of direct west of us and slightly north of us. The May is also, just as you all probably know, the sister project of our first significant multifamily investment in downtown Eco, located at Wasatch in Colorado. The May is 177 units, and I'll talk a little bit more about that here shortly. We couldn't be more excited about our location. I will be honest and say we did not know that Denver Biscuit, Atomic Cowboy, and the consortium of restaurants was happening when we decided to do the May. When we began, and this project stems back actually since when I joined Norwood in 2012. And so I think from our perspective, the neighborhood of the New South End is a huge reason why people would even want to live here. Previously, even going back a dozen or so years, while this was we did have activity on Tejon, it was not the place it is today. And so I think we're thrilled to be part of what the transformation of the New South End neighborhood. I'm going to share a little bit about the story of the May. I think really our goal, our number one goal is to offer timeless, stylish, and spirited downtown living experiences for those who choose the downtown lifestyle. More and more people are choosing the downtown lifestyle, and I can say that as owner of Eco, we continue to sign leases. People are still interested in living downtown, and so that is super encouraging to us as someone who's opening 177 units in a couple of months. That's really important. The story of how we came to call this project the May is really kind of an interesting one. We as we started to really look to see what's the spirit and personality of this place, more and more people, I would say we thought long and hard about what we were trying to do. And at the same time that we were doing this, we had worked to commission, along with others, a statue of Fannie Mae Duncan that I believe now is sitting outside the Pikes Peak Center. And it's a fascinating story of who Fannie Mae Duncan was. Probably my favorite picture is the lower left-hand corner picture. She's counting her money, and yes, that's a loaded gun on her bed. But she was a force. She was a force for good, and she was spirited. She was vibrant, and she really worked to bring and elevate the classiness of downtown and offer both visitors and locals an experience that did not exist with her Cotton Club. She was pioneering. She was able to bring some fantastic, truly top drawer talent, jazz musicians to the likes of Etta James and Louis Armstrong through Colorado Springs on their way from the East Coast to the West Coast. And so for us, really, the May is something where we looked to cultivate her spirit, her attention to detail. She was always dressed to the nines. And so that hopefully can be found. That was our goal, to be found throughout the project. This is a rendering of what when we first started the project. We've changed a little bit from that, but not much. I think what different than our other project at Wasatch in Colorado Eco, we worked to blend some of the materials that we see from our neighbors directly to our west. And this really is an existing neighborhood, and we wanted to be super sensitive to that. I literally took brick samples and walked around the neighborhood comparing to make sure that our brick was not too loud, it wasn't too soft, it was just right. And so from the way that this the kind of the building is situated, behind these concrete hoppers is our main entrance. It's the northwest corner of Moreno and Cascade, and then along Cascade, and then along Rio Grande to the south, we have 2-story townhome walk-up units. These are all for rent, and these were a huge success at Eco, and that was something we carried forward on this project too. Moving inside, I think we had a desire to create a classic timeless experience. There's a kind of a difference between vintage and timeless. Vintage usually is kind of worn and old looking, still cool, but worn and old looking. And I think we work to use warm woods, fabrics that are kind of textured and lush, and then as well as just kind of some fun pops of tile and color, a monochromatic color palette, but still something that people can add their flavor to. I have not shown these renderings yet publicly, so you guys are the kind of the first ones to see it. This is our leasing, our lobby and leasing area. This was built with hospitality in mind. We have probably 6 different ways and places where you can sit, lounge. You can residents and their guests can open a laptop and work. They can take a phone call. They can sit and sip a crafty, fancy caffeinated drink. But our lobby really is kind of our hustle and bustle space in our project. From here, there's an elevator lobby just around the corner. The fitness center can be accessed through. There's a conference room where folks because we actually do have a lot of folks at ECO that work from home, and everyone's working from home right now, I guess. And so these spaces end up being huge value adds to folks who are, don't want to be holed up in their apartment and really kind of want to be in a hospitable space. Moving upstairs, that is on our 2nd level. This is our club, inside of our club and theater rooms. And in the club room, there is a kind of a fully outfitted demonstration kitchen, soft seating areas, and kind of a gaming. We chose ping pong, different than what we've done previously in the past, just as a cool throwback and unique game. And then a theater room around the corner, so that really, if you want to go watch a game or something, you don't really have to take over the space. As you move outside here, this is a view from the pool deck. The pool deck is about 30% larger than we have at ECO, or our parcel size is bigger. And so that's allowed us to do a few more things here on the pool deck that we have not been able to do on ECO or previous projects. What's just off of the screen to the left is a 14-person hot tub, which is at the center of the pool deck. We've got two kind of fireplace gathering spaces. We've got 3 outdoor kitchens with grill stations, and these are all for residents to use. And then the green space that you see here is, this was actually a huge hit we didn't know about at ECO. And we don't really have the room to do it there, but games like cornhole are just huge, and people love it. So providing a little astroturfed area that people can use. To kind of speak about our units, we have of our 177 units, we have 33 different types of units. I don't always, it's brain damage to have that many unit types from an owner's perspective, just organizing everything. But for residents, I think it really does try to offer something from the 400 square foot studio, where, just anecdotally, those were the fastest leasing units at ECO. We kind of leased them in about 7 hours. So they went very, very quickly. All the way up to our, what is new for us is a 3-bedroom, 3-bath unit. We have folks at ECO that have asked for this, and we think there's more demand. There's only 3 of them in the project. And I don't have images and pictures of them. You kind of have to experience them in person. But we have, we also have on level 5, which is our top level, we've got 10 penthouse units that are 2-story. It's kind of something that's new. And then 5 of which have their own private rooftop terrace that's accessible through the unit. So that was an addition that once we were kind of walking, and after this was built, we said, holy cow, we've got to figure out how to allow residents to have private outdoor space up here. some of which look back to the city, some of which look over to the mountains. And then I'm not a huge fan of always showing in progress images because you only get one chance to make a first impression. But these are some kind of current progress images of a unit in the upper left-hand corner, and the kind of kitchen cabinetry, the club room where the rendering was taken, and up in the upper right-hand corner, the lobby in the lower left, and then the outdoor amenity with the pool deck. And so I think one of the things that we, to kind of speak to Nick's point, we are super excited about is something that we've probably given the best space in the building over to all the residents. This is the 6th floor northwest corner. If this was a unit, this would be the highest grossing dollar per square foot unit. But we have about a 750 square foot rooftop deck that's a true rooftop deck served by the elevator that overlooks, in the foreground, you can see this was taken a few weeks back, maybe a few months back actually, now that I look at it, with how far the stadium is along. And then the Olympic Museum in Southwest downtown, and then just sweeping views of the Front Range and Pikes Peak. So it truly is unbelievable. Lastly, I think plug for Ian and Lee Spirits. We have just begun to start the rollout of how we let people know. We're trying some different new things. This is something we've never done before, but we approached Ian. Gosh, it was probably 4 or 5 months ago when we were trying to really create the brand experience, and we said, can you create something for us that really is truly ours, that can be shared in Brooklyn's on Boulder, that other people can do so. And we, going through the personality of Fannie Mae Duncan, Ian and his team came up with a fairly potent yet delightful drink called the May. I just had it at lunch today. Don't tell anyone, but it was fantastic. And so look for, as restaurants start opening back up, including Brooklyn on Boulders, that this will start to come. So we're excited. We're opening. We're planning opening at the end of July, beginning of August. We'll begin our lease up, and again, if you have questions, happy to answer them when it comes time. But more information is mayoncascade.com. All of our 33 floor plans are on there, so you can go look at those. Thanks.
Wow. You want to unshare there, Jeff?
Yeah.
That is absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much. It's really incredible and such high quality. Congratulations. And I can't wait to also have that cocktail. So really exciting stuff. I'm going to keep us moving along because I told you 5 o'clock. I lied. We're probably going to go to 5:05. We also have a little fun video of the pedestrian bridge to share with you. So we will just keep things moving. Excited to share. We have Bobby Mikulas and Brooke Mikulas and Nate Grimm with Kinship Landing to share about the exciting project that you've seen come to fruition over on South Nevada Avenue. I am going to turn it over to Bobby to share about Kinship Landing.
Okay, hi everyone.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
Great to be here. We've just got a couple things to say, just a basic update for you today. It's so good to see everyone, and I think I'm having a little bit of issue here with my screen, so give me just one sec. How's that, Susan?
It's a little, there we go.
Okay.
All right. We are the Kinship Landing team. I am Brooke. This is my husband, Bobby. Our partner, Nate, is also here. He's going to be sharing in a moment. And first of all, we miss all of you and wish we could see you in person. I think during these times we have realized now more than ever, we are so thankful that we picked our hometown, Colorado Springs, to start this business. Seeing everyone support each other has just been so cool. Many of you already know our story, and many of you have been, in fact, a very integral part of our kinship landing story. But for those of you who don't, just to give you a little bit of context, 3 years ago, we came together to kind of develop this dream, this idea that Bobby and Nate and I had of creating a community project in our hometown. And Bobby and I absolutely love this city. We grew up here. Bobby was actually born at Memorial Hospital, fun fact. And so between Nate's hospitality and finance experience in Denver, and between a trip that we took for a year around the world and the experience we gleaned, we really wanted to come back to Colorado Springs and develop this concept. So we are under construction on South Nevada Avenue with a 4-story, 40-room boutique hotel. Yeah, go ahead. And there's a picture of us in one of our suites in the upstairs. Basically, we've got a variation of different rooms. We've got shared dorms, we've got standard hotel rooms with really beautiful millwork, and we've got some suites. And the main level is a really intentional community space, event space, conference room. And the idea behind Kinship Landing is truly a community center. We want locals and travelers to rub shoulders, and we were inspired to bring this hospitality concept here because we really want to connect people to the best that our region has to offer. There is so much between our cultural assets, food and beverage, outdoor recreation, you name it. We've got it in Colorado Springs, but I think sometimes it's hard to access. And so for Bobby and I, our heart is to kind of unearth the best our city has to offer. Yeah, I think hopefully you get a nice little glimpse of that with Kinship Landing. Nate, why don't you give us a construction update?
Yeah, I definitely hold Jeff's sentiment a little bit about sharing progress photos of you have one chance to make a good impression. So here's our beautiful basement that we have converted. And if you've driven past anytime recently, you've seen the great progress. My name is Nate Grimm. I'm just truly blessed and so excited to be a part of this 3-man team, 2-man, 1-woman team. It's great to be doing something you love with some of your best friends and beginning to put in place, as you'll see here, the foundations of something that we believe will be a true gift to the community here in Colorado Springs. First off, I just want to say, I know this has been a really trying time for a lot of people, especially in the downtown community, and our hearts go out to a lot of those that have been affected both physically and economically. And I almost feel slightly embarrassed just from a construction perspective that for Kinship Landing, nothing has really changed. In fact, we haven't seen any delays during the pandemic. We've had a great team in place. I'm seeing Echo Architecture on here. They have just been a huge asset to us and a real team player throughout the whole process, along with Fixer Creative. If you know Sarah and Troy, they've been truly wonderful to work with. So the team around us has really gotten us to the place where we're at, and we continue to speed through construction pretty quickly. And we're looking to finish up interior sheetrock within the next couple weeks. What you're seeing now, this is our first floor. You'll see some renderings a little bit later that Bobby will be sharing looking the other way that really just showcase the open, airy, comfortable feel that we want the whole property to provide. So the real fun part that's coming up that you'll be able to see, it's actually on the east side of our building. You see that big hole in the wall over there on the north side. That's going to be connected into our greenhouse. And so think a little bit less like a growing greenhouse and more like an atrium event space that we're really excited to introduce as an event space for the downtown community. The atrium, it'll provide a bright event comfortable event space. You can host any size of meetings. And what we're really excited for is for it to really provide some synergy with all the amazing things that are already going in downtown, both on the event side, the food and beverage side. You'll also see where those garage door openings are on the first floor. We're going to have a wonderful food and beverage concept going in with our partner, Jay Gust, who, as you know, has done Pizzeria Rustica, Tapateria, and we're really excited to roll that out. So over the next few weeks and months, you'll see the outside get buttoned up a little bit. Really, really excited to share with you guys. We're being a little tight-lipped on the actual opening date. Bobby will probably share a little bit more, but I will tell you that we're extremely excited to welcome you all in for a drink later this year in 2020.
Awesome. I guess we can show this. So thanks, Nate, for the construction update. It's so good to be with you guys, even virtually. I think one thing that's been a blast about this project is we really feel like we're just getting to do business with our friends. I remember when we first sat down with Susan 3 years ago, we said, Susan, we've got 2 goals here. We want to make some friends and we want to learn some stuff. And we might even get a hotel out of it at the end of the day. So we love you guys on the other end of this screen, and we're trying to just let you into the story and see the foundation, the second floor, the third floor, the pre-stucco exterior. It's kind of all of our story in some ways. So thanks for bearing with us. I've just got a couple things to share with you. We have not showed these images to anyone, so this is what this will look like. Coming into Kinship Landing right off Nevada Avenue. This is basically directly across the street from Loyal Coffee. And you can see if you push through that space, there's the greenhouse atrium space for events that Nate was talking about. We really want this to be a place where people who live here and people who travel here can access some of the best kept secrets. So we'll have a greenhouse event space. Hotel guests will check in from the east in sort of a modern lobby. And we've worked really hard to make that a really modern guest experience where it can be all touchless check-in, including your room key is virtual through your phone. And then we do have this shared dorm component, which we're having all fun, creative brainstorming planning sessions right now with COVID and how we respond to that. Our suites are just going to be fantastic. I'm excited to host some of you guys and your friends and family in our suites when the time comes. And so really just in conclusion, I'll tell you guys the same thing that we've told Susan, and those of you who know us, you know that we're in this for friendship. So June, coming up in about 20, 30 days, we're going to be launching some big news and opening up opportunities for you and for guests to participate in the story. So you'll be hearing a lot more from us come June. You'll have the chance to book event space for fall festivities and book rooms. And I'm going to be reaching out to a lot of you because what we've tried to create is a really great place to sleep so that we can push our guests out to all the best stuff going on in the community. So we're not offering guides or gear. We want to connect them with you, your yoga shops and your massage studios and your restaurants. So thank you guys so much. If you need to get in touch with us, you can screenshot that or reach out in whatever way. And Susan, thank you so much for the opportunity to just include everyone in the story.
Oh, thank you to the Kinship team. That is wonderful. Really beautiful project. And I love, your vision behind everything that you've been doing. It's really inspiring. And look at Peter with the Olympic Museum, Olympic and Paralympic Museum is ready to go. And I'll just apologize to folks. I know I said 5 o'clock. We're going to push a little past 5. I know some folks may have to get to family, but we got a lot of folks sticking around. So we're going to hear a bit about the Olympic and Paralympic Museum, and then probably 2 or 3 minutes after that with a couple also really exciting new to everybody updates as well. But again, thank you, Kinship team. That was gorgeous. It really was so exciting. Congratulations with how far you've come.
Appreciate it.
All right, Peter Maioro with the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Museum. Take it away.
Thanks, Susan. And I'll just quickly echo what others have said. Thanks to you and the entire team at Downtown Partnership for the great work that you all continue to do. I sort of feel like we're the senior citizen project that you're hearing about today, given that our construction is nearly complete. complete. And you'll see a few images here shortly of some of the exciting progress inside the museum with our exhibits. The first thing I want to point out before we dive in here is this wonderful new logo that you see here, this 5-stripe design that we officially launched last week. Worked with a wonderful partner in New York to help us create this, and pays homage to the colors of the Olympic rings, the shape of the tiles on the exterior of the building, sort of a flag waving in the wind, and lots of wonderful elements. Many of you have seen this. This is the original pencil sketch drawing that Liz Diller of Diller, Scofidio, and Renfro created when she was conceiving of the museum and at the site, and really this wonderful embracing of the natural landscape. You can see what we now know is Pikes Peak in the center, the main structure on the left, and then the clamshell design of the cafe to the right. And so ultimately, this is what that vision has become. And as you'll see here in just a moment, we're very near that vision. Like you've heard from several of the other projects, these are images that many people have not seen. In fact, some of them were taken photos were taken this morning inside the building. So they are about as fresh as we can get. I was talking with several folks earlier and talking about how wonderfully photogenic this structure is. And I think that this gives you a great sample of that, and how extraordinarily lucky we feel to have such a wonderful piece of architecture right in our southwest part of downtown. And I just think that this photo in particular really captures the grace and the strength and the elegance of an athlete in motion that Liz Diller was trying to replicate. Here you'll see a wonderful shot of that incredible bridge that will span the railroad tracks and connect our plaza and cafe area to America the Beautiful Park. Hopefully many of you saw the article in the Houston Chronicle just in the last week about the progress on the bridge and how exciting that part of the project is going.
Peter, we're showing that video right after you. So.
Oh, perfect. Well, sorry to steal your thunder.
That's all right.
The photos that I'm going to show are basically the renderings of what is ultimately the vision for the museum, and then some current status. And so what you see here on the left is a 40-foot tall, 3-story digital LED wall where we'll be able to share video and images of athletes. And really, this is one of the first things you'll experience when you enter the building. You can see there in the center what that wall physically looks like. And literally, as of about 3 hours ago, this was how far they had made progress with installing those LED panels on that wall. So very exciting to see that work really coming to fruition. As you continue through the guest experience, I'm just going to hit a few highlights here in the interest of time. We're very fortunate that we will be the official home of the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Hall of Fame. These are 4 12-foot tall digital video pylons where you'll be able to explore content about all of our Hall of Famers in the Olympic and Paralympic Hall of Fame. And you can see there in the center and on the right how the fabrication of those pylons is really progressing wonderfully. This may not look like much on the right, but this is one of the really key elements that allows our museum to be one of the most accessible and inclusive museums anywhere in the world, and that is our RFID technology. When you arrive at the museum and you purchase your ticket, you'll get a credential with an RFID chip embedded in it. You'll have the opportunity then to customize the information on that chip with your preferences about sports or particular athletes, as well as about your level of ability. And so if you have hearing impairment or sight impairment or cognitive disabilities, the museum will know that and the technology will read that chip and customize the experience specifically for you to ensure that it's a compelling visit. We're fortunate to have 2 really incredibly iconic collections in the museum. One is this set of Olympic torches. We are one of only 2 collections in the world of a complete set of Olympic torches that go back to 1936. And so you can see the rendering there on the left, and the cases where those torches will ultimately live, been installed and are ready to start seeing some of the torches that will arrive probably early next week for installation in the museum. One of the other really exceptional elements is this digital map of the United States, where visitors will get to explore all of the more than 13,000 Olympic and Paralympic athletes and learn about where they're from, learn about their sports and when they competed. And this is really intended to ensure that all of our visitors from around the United States feel connected to this Olympic and Paralympic movement, so that our visitors know that there are athletes from their own neighborhoods and their own communities that are part of this powerful and important movement. Another really exciting part of the museum is our athlete training gallery, where we'll have 6 different Olympic and Paralympic sports that you'll get to demonstrate or try in an interactive experience. What you see on the left there is the rendering of a 40-meter Olympic track, where you will be able to race against life-size, real-time, 8 different Olympic and Paralympic athletes. Like the photo of the LED wall, this photo of the track was taken at about 2 o'clock this afternoon as the track installation is happening and they're painting the numbers on those lanes. So some of our board members haven't even seen. One of the other really critical parts of this museum is the importance of engaging Olympic and Paralympic athletes. And we've engaged athletes from the very beginning, from selecting the architect to helping design the important and critical galleries. And one of the things that almost without exception the athletes talk about is the Parade of Nations and how powerful that moment walking into the opening ceremony is. And so what you see here is a rendering of a 360-degree virtual experience, as though you as a guest are walking into the opening ceremony shoulder to shoulder with our Team USA athletes. And then on the right is some of our video testing of that content that I think will prove to be one of the most exciting experiences in this museum. As you complete your visit, there's a 140-seat theater where we've worked closely with NBC to produce a really exceptional 9-minute final film. And then on the left there, you can see that the screens are installed, the seats are in, and we're beginning to test some of our video content in that theater. And we're very excited about how powerful we think this final film experience will be for all of our guests. And then finally, just again, going back to my insatiable love of this structure and how extraordinary the nearly 9,000 aluminum diamond-shaped panels on the exterior of this building are, and how many different wonderful images can be created in photograph of this really exceptional building. So with that, I will conclude, turn it back over to Susan, and thank you all. I know many of you on this call are supporters of the museum. We appreciate your help to make this a reality, and we are enormously excited that here in the next few months, we'll finally have the chance to open it to all of our guests and visitors.
Peter, thank you, and Chris as well. I know you're with us as well, and I'm sorry with the time constraints. You packed a lot of information in there very quickly, and so thank you for that. And I hope you saw the chats that were popping up throughout of how thrilled and inspired people are. And I think that's what sort of the theme of all these presentations are, is that you all are creating great, beautiful spaces for people to come together and to be inspired and to make friends and to live and to celebrate and all of that. And that's really something that downtown is all about, which is why this time, of course, has been tough for us, because that's what we do every day, is bring people together and create moments and connections to be together. I'm going to wrap up very quickly, but I wanted to share just a couple other very quick things as well. As Peter mentioned, the pedestrian bridge that's connecting the Olympic and Paralympic Museum to America the Beautiful Park is in process. So again, really exciting to think about 500 tons of steel over 265 feet that are being fabricated off-site, also by the same architects as the museum, Diller, Scofidio, Renfro.
We've been working on a 265-foot pedestrian bridge for the United States Olympic Museum in Colorado Springs, Colorado. It's going to be connecting the museum to the America the Beautiful Park, and it's going to give a straight shot. If you're standing in the museum, it gives you a view of the park. It's straight through the Oculus. It's very cool, very pretty. It's one constant curve that's constantly changing. That's the craziest part about it.
Just the geometry involved in this, and you're trying to make steel do something that it's not, that it doesn't want to do. You're trying to bend it and form it into an elliptical shape that twists. You know, just getting that section correct is just incredible. I mean, we've done some complicated stuff here, but this thing just took it to another level.
It's great to see so much hard work manifest into something tangible. Like, you have something to show for all of the hard work that you put in. Really, we've assembled this entire bridge in about 2 weeks. So we had about 500 tons of steel that is now sitting in a bridge.
That bridge is being constructed in Houston, and in a couple weeks is coming here to Colorado Springs, and then will continue to be assembled on site here in Colorado Springs with hope for installation in the fall. Got a few issues with the railroad to deal with, so fall is the target. Might be a little bit delayed, but really going to be an incredible feature, and I thought you all might enjoy that. And then finally, just a couple other quick things. You may be saying, well, what's that crane over at the corner of Kiowa and Nevada? That's the new Hyatt Place Hotel going in. It'll be 120 rooms and also have some street level commercial space. So I will say I personally love anytime a surface parking lot gets developed with a better use. So we're excited to see, again, another crane in downtown. And this project is an Urban Renewal Authority project and is moving forward as well. And then this one you may not have seen before, Pikes Peak Plaza Apartments. These will be breaking ground a little later this year on the east side of downtown. A little over 200 units, really beautiful spaces, great balconies, about 800 or 8,000 square feet of commercial space as well. And that'll be, again, if you're heading east on Pikes Peak Avenue, it is just to that north side. You've probably seen that big empty lot for many years. I know when I moved here, that was an empty lot. It's been a long time, since the early 90s, I remember that. But this development in particular is going to make really great use of Shooks Run Creek too. So we're excited to see that that will be coming to fruition as well very, very soon. There are many more that, and I am so sorry that we've just been rushing through all this because we actually have so many good things to share, and just wanted to give you a sample that even as we're working with challenging times, so many great folks. I want to thank our presenters with our projects today that are you know, really just persevering with all this. I'm so looking forward to being at the opening of every one of these projects, and frankly much more to come as well. But I really applaud your vision. Every one of these projects you shared today is just super, super thoughtful. It's not just brick and mortar. You really have a dream and you're making it into a reality. And thank you for all that you are doing. I know we had said we'd save time for questions. I will say, mostly in the comments, I'm seeing kudos, which is absolutely deserved by everyone. So out of respect for your time, I think we're just gonna call it an evening, and I'll just remind you again, our State of Downtown report, you're gonna get a lot more surprises and cool insights as well. So register for State of Downtown, and then the following week on June 10th, Insiders Look to Art on the Streets as well. We so look forward to the day that we can see you all in person. But for now, this will do, but we know better times are ahead to be in the beautiful spaces you all are creating and come together again. So with that, I'm just going to wrap us up and say thank you again, everybody. We'll let you get on with your evening, and thanks for being members of Downtown Partnership. You're really powering our work to help big projects and small business in our downtown. So have a terrific evening, everyone.